everyone, welcome back to the channel. As always with me, it's a mixture of all sorts again this week. There is some activity in the workshop directly on Crossley House, but come along and again, see what I'm getting up to this time. I have decided to tackle the lighting in the kitchen area at Crossley House. And what I have is I have a number of, they're either called grains of wheat bulbs or they are called rice bulbs. So what I want to do is I want to create so they look like a light bulb. So these fit into these little glass domes. Now these I bought a long while ago, but I bought them online and I think I got them off Amazon. And they're in the sort of jewellery department. So what I'm going to do is I need to get these to sit inside securely. I don't know whether you can see, but I need to secure them to the side of the neck. I'm going to get the glue out, and what I've done is I've gone for a Gorilla super glue, but it's a gel, and I feel that the gel might work better because it's a non-run gel. I'll put the super glue onto the cardboard, and then I will use a cocktail stick to put a tiny amount onto the inside of the glass. Now, the last time I tried this, I ran into trouble because the super glue I used ran and it ran down the light fitting. So it clouded all this glass area of the light fitting. So this is why I've gone for the gel to see if this will work better. So let me just put a small amount out onto the card. I'm just going to pick a bit up on the end of my cocktail stick and just lay it in the bottom of the neck of this light fitting. And then if I just thread the bulb carefully, keeping the bulb away from the glue and then just settling it onto the super glue. And I'm going to have to just wait for that to go off. And I think that's one bulb created. And this is turning out to be a bit of a success because I really got into an awful mess and actually had to ditch the bulbs that I had because it just simply didn't work. So you've got to work quite fast with this because obviously it's a super glue. Let me just try and put this one in and see if this is going to work. There's another one gone in. They're quite fiddly to do. Let me just get the cocktail stick at the other end and see if I can just press that down. Yeah, it's gone. It's in. So the other thing that I've got to work out what to do is these are great, but they're not like the normal wiring. They are completely split. I think I might be able to super glue that together. I would like to paint them so it looks like I've got coloured cord coming down to the light fitting. So let me just pop another bit of glue in there, just on that bottom section. And actually what this is proving to do is it's not catching the bulb, and the glue is not going to mist up the bulb. So I wonder if I can. I don't know whether this is going to work. I need a piece of paper, but I actually want to glue the cable together. But of course, you start doing that, and I end up super gluing myself to the whole fitment, which is not going to be very good. But I am pleased. This is exactly what I wanted. I wanted bulbs, and I've got some old blind fabric. And basically you can see through, so the weave is very light. And what I'll do is I'll cut circles in this particular blind fabric, and then I'll create some coolie hats and they can sit on the top. So I should carry on now with this and carry on doing the same. I've got packets that I've bought of these seed bulbs. I get my supplies from Bromley Crafts. They were very fast on dispatching this time. Very fast indeed. If you catch them in the morning, then the chances are you'll see your delivery within a couple of days. That's for the UK. So I tend to go to Bromley Crafts. I've been going to this company all the way through lockdown when I was trying to put together Crossley House. I used, and I would highly recommend Bromley Crafts. And what I will do is I will put a link in the description. Okay, I think what I'll do is I'll leave those for now because I've got 5 left, and I do want to use them all. So I've got 4. I've got them made up. I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 5 made up now. And let me just wire them up now, and then I can see how they're going to work and how they're going to look. And there we go. I've wired up 3 out of the 5, and they're just working beautifully, and I'm really, really chuffed with that. I think they're going to look very, very smart. They've gone in nicely. And so the next thing is working out what I'm going to do with this section. I could use the shrink tubing that you use when you join the wiring up to extend the wiring in a doll's house. I could use that. I'm not keen on using that. But I'm very pleased with those. I've just got to test these 2 out now. They really were a bit of a mare to get in, but I think they're going to be absolutely fine. And then I can think about getting those put in place in the doll's house. And of course, the other thing, which is a bit of an anti on these, is the fact that I've got to get 2 separate wires through the hole that I've created in the ceiling, and it may be that I have to drill out a wider hole in order to get these 2 wires to fit. So just aside from dealing with the lighting for the doll's house, the other thing I wanted to show you was I went out and I bought, and I know you think I'm mad, but I bought a pack of 5 babies' bibs. And the reason I bought them is because, oddly enough, on one side there's a toweling surface. And this toweling is so tiny that cut out the toweling alone, you can create some very, very nice plush towels to go in the doll's house bathroom. So I've ended up with 1, 2, this was all they had at the time. I bought these in Tesco, which is one of our branded supermarkets here in the UK. But I'm sure sell them anywhere. But it struck me, and it was because I'd been with a friend who had a baby, and I'd noticed that there was a toweling side to this bib, and I just said, oh, where did you get the bibs from? They just said, I think they came from Tesco or another supermarket where they have a babies section. And I've ended up with this beautiful toweling. So I will dismantle. I don't know whether I want that ribbed effect fabric on that one for anything in particular, but I'll keep hold of everything. I'll just take the binding off and lose the popper top on each of them, and maybe I can use them. I can make some nice towel sets, and especially with the armoire that I finished, I can put bundles of towels into the armoire just to stage it, and I can have them in the bathroom as well. But I do enjoy having white linen anyway, so I tend not to bother now with colour. I like to stay with white or cream. So having worked out now that I need 4.5 inches from 3 of these bulbs. Oops, careful. I need 4.5 inches from the tip to the beam. I've allowed 1/2 inch off So what I need to do is I need to enclose this wiring in this tubing. Now this tubing, again, from Bromley Crafts, basically what you do is when you're joining two sets of wires together, you would put this over the end of the wire. So you would slide it, let me just show you. You would slide it in, a length of it, get this in, and then make the join with the other piece of wire, slide it back over, and you heat, and it shrinks over the connection. So it makes that connection strong, and there's no chance of it, the wiring coming apart. So what I thought I'd do is, if I can, I'm going to get 4 inch lengths of this, and I'm going to try and thread the 2 wires in together through this, and then I will heat shrink this and then give it a coat of the burnt umber, or maybe I might do it in white. I don't know, but I think this is the solution for getting this thing sorted. The family area. Although I did wonder whether to modify a light that I have already, which I've never used, and maybe create another nice piece of lighting, which is on like a long boom arm, and it just comes over the seating area from the corner of the room. Wow, that one's gone in as well. So those 3 are now set up. I've just got to paint those. I think I will shrink them, and they're ready then to go up into the ceiling space. You're looking directly up now at the ceiling. I've managed to get one in, but I had to do it with a slightly larger drill bit, and I'm just trying to see if I can see what size it is. I will have a check on that because I think that's important. But what I'm doing is I'm going back in. Oh no, that's not tight enough. Oh dear. Right, let's go in now and see if I can. I didn't use a very big bit before. And I'm just going in to see if I can get that through up into the, oh, there we are. It's gone through. That's perfect. So the next thing is I've put the wires together. Let me just see if I can show you. I put, oh no, I don't think it's going to show very well. I've actually twiddled those wires together, and now I'm just going to bend them back on themselves. So you've got, whoa, sorry folks. You've got that, and the theory is it's worked with this one, but I'm going to take this one up now, and it's going through smoothly. So I'll have to have a look at the drill bit size. So that's in, that's good. The tubing that has held the wiring together in the doll's house, I'm actually threading it up through onto the next floor. So I know that's going to work. So there we go. We've got 3 lights in, covered in masking tape, but never mind. They can stay like that for the moment. Wow, that took a bit of doing, didn't it? I think what I'm going to do next is I'm now going to unthread that lighting. I wanted to check that it was going to go in, and I liked where it was all sitting. But what I think I'll do now is I need to take out those lights, and I need to route out a channel so that all the wiring is heading in one direction out of that room, and it will go into the hallway, where it'll be routed out, I think up the wall onto there's a space that I'm going to create to put all the electrics in. My concern is, of course, that it's a small piece of copper wiring that I intend to use, and whether in fact it's going to be substantial enough to take all the wiring. The alternative I have is I take it through the back, I drop it down at the back of the house and put it into a woodshed, make a woodshed for the outside, because I will have hopefully a log burner in the snug stroke morning room. Yes, so I'll have to have a think about that and see what I'm going to do. But for now, I need to now route out the channels. I also need to extend the wiring because these seed bulbs or little wheat bulbs, they're the rice bulbs or wheat bulbs, sorry, they don't come on long pieces of wiring, so I'm going to have to sort that out and get it all threaded through. So I've routed out that channel, and I'm really pleased with that. It comes out, as I say, into the hallway through this side, but it's slightly shallower here, and as you get further down it gets deeper. So all I've got to do now is cut off these rough fluffy edges and we're good to go. So I pulled off a piece, and what I'll do is I'm keeping away from that because I made a mess on there with the, let me just move those out of the way. Let me just put that on there so I don't get any of the spray paint on this. I found some insulating tape on a roll. I don't know where my compass has gone, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give this a try. This is just a prototype, just to see whether in fact this might work. And if it does, I'll fashion it onto that, which is not ready to be hung. So let me get that cut out. Right. This is only rough. This is nothing major that I'm doing here at the minute. I just want to see whether in fact this is going to work. It may be that the circle's not big enough. I don't know what the diameter is of, oh, let's take that bit off there. Yeah, it's really good stuff, this. It's absolutely marvellous. If anybody would like some, as long as, sadly, you're not in America, I'd be happy to send some of this over, send this out to you. Just charge you for a bit of postage and that'll be it really. So roughly the middle we'll say is there. This is only rough, so don't go up the line there. And then the idea is that I wrap it around here, but I make it something along that sort of line where I've got the bulb in right at the top, the coolie hat's on, and you can see the bulb dangling. You can see the bulb dangling in the coolie hat, which I think would be rather lovely. But I shall get this done with properly, so I know what I'm doing. So basically, I'd have to cut that a bit just to put the seam in. Then I suppose you would snip off a bit at the top here for your wiring to go through, and you would thread the wiring through and end up, let's just see how that works now. I put that little bit of a nick in for the centre. Actually, that's not too bad at all. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It needs to be refined a little bit, but certainly, sorry, I've got you slight, let me just lift the camera. So that is the coolie hat, and that would be in the kitchen. And that sort of finishes that bulb off, unless of course you fancy this sort of Edison style, and a lot of people do, with that sort of naked bulb hanging. But I do like this. I think this is a lovely idea. And it's open to all sorts of possibilities, because I would imagine you could probably spray paint that or just put a light wash of colour on. And you've got yourself a little coolie hat to go on your light bulb. How about that then? That's fantastic. Like what I'm seeing now. Now I've taken that nick out, and there we go. That I think is looking rather lovely, and I shall think on about how I'm going to do other lighting like this, especially in the kitchen and family room. Right, so I don't know whether you're going to see these. I'm just trying to find something that I can put them on. Well, maybe not. I have taken these into my cardboard spray booth. Actually, they've not covered very well. I've got a bit there that needs sorting. But basically, I've spray painted that tubing that the wires are thread through. So hopefully that'll give it a nicer finish. In fact, let me just do one more there, because that's not very nice. That's it. That's that bit. Just check this one. Yeah, that's perfect. And this one needs a little bit. So those can be dried now. Those will need quite a while to dry. Sometimes I end up having to take them into the house where the temperature's higher for them to dry out. But when they do, they're really smooth and they'll look lovely. So that's so far with the lighting. The other thing I wanted to show you, if I can find it, oh, it's here. I talked about, when I was doing the lights, I talked about this. Now this came off one of these blinds. It's just a privacy blind, but if you can see, it's quite see-through. And what I wondered whether I could make, because it doesn't fray, I thought I might try and make like a coolie hat that would sit on top of the bulb to give it some sort of finish. Coming back into the my workspace indoors, I bought in some of that blind material, and I brought out that prototype I made just a short while ago in the workshop. So what I want to do now is I found a compass. So I think what I'd like to do is find, oh, that's the point there. I'd like to find a comfortable measurement, and I'm looking at it, and actually that is making a diameter across of 4 centimetres. There we go. That is the circle, and I think that was the point. Oh dear, that's the other thing I've got to make sure. Right, let me just put a little grey dot in the middle there, and that's the middle of this coolie hat to put on the lighting. Right, and if I cut this out carefully, quite tricky. But what I like, as I said earlier, what I like about this fabric is there is absolutely no fraying at all. Let me just take that off there and get rid of that bulk. And let's just cut the rest of this round. And then, ooh, think I might have got it. Oh, that's not too bad. Right, so what I'll do is I'll cut a slit now, and I'll keep it with the grain of the fabric. There we go. And what I did do whilst I was in the workshop was to just nick out the centre. So let me do it into quarters. Just take a tiny wee amount off the end there. Not too big, otherwise you'll end up with a huge hole in the middle, and that will never do. So here's one of the lights. This is not one of the lights that are going to be fitted, but let me just put that into the middle like so. And I think that will work rather nicely. All I have to do is work out how wide I want this shade, and I don't think I want to do too much with it. So I'm going to work out where I might stop it. Yeah, so the hole's big enough to thread the wiring through, although I'd probably make it just a tiny weeny bit bigger. Don't want to make that too big, but it needs to be big enough that I can thread the wiring through. And I also don't really want to crease it. So I think the best thing now is if I glue, what I don't want to do is I don't want to glue the whole thing down. So actually, if I take this off at that point there and just put a very tiny seam on that. There we go. Just put that on there like so, and then just join the two very carefully, like, oh, careful Leslie, like so. Just hold it there for a second or two while the glue goes off. Oh, no, it's not going off at all. Come on, this is super glue. Come along. I think that'll probably work. Oh, Leslie, come on. I don't want to put a huge seam on this, because a huge seam will mean... Oh, don't tell me I've got to get a needle and thread out on this. I really didn't want to be doing that. Right, try a bit more glue. As I say, I don't want too much on here, because otherwise I think it will spoil it. Right, let's try that and see if that's going to hold for me. Oh, I think that is. I think I've given it a sufficient overlap. So I think what I'm going to do is let that dry. Is that going to take? Right, let's find a bulldog clip. Oh, let's have a light one. I only need one of these little blue ones. But I'm going to just pop that in so it's not going anywhere. So this is the last one I'll do for now. I'm not going to do any more. Quite happy with what I'm doing so far. Sorry, leaning over again. And just fold that over gently. Not too far. Oh, come on, Leslie. It's done it again. This is the glue just settling into the mesh, as opposed to having any effect on gluing things together. No, I've got to go it again with the glue. Ay. Right, let's try this again. There we go. There we go. A bit more there. Not too much. I get so glued up with super glue. It's never easy to get off. If anybody's got any cracking ideas as to how to get super glue off the end of your fingertips, because I end up, I can't open my phone because I've got glue on the end of my thumb. I can't open the phone, I can't open the iPad, so I get into a bit of a mess. So there we are. I'm going to leave those 3 little coolie hats. I'm very pleased with those. Those have worked really well. I've still got this one, bit of a template really. Oh, there we go. There's my little bit that you need to cut out, and some of this. So if you know the dimension and you want me to cut you circles and send them off, just let me know in the comments section, and I'll see what I can sort out, and I'd be delighted, just for the cost of the postage. Well, I have to say that has taken me less than 5 minutes to put together. I'm absolutely delighted. What a lovely little chair. So I'm going to think about this now, like I did with the Apothecary's chest of drawers. I think I'm going to stain this and get it finished off with a nice cushion pad on the top. So that's that done. The other thing that I ordered from Mark was the Rennie Macintosh coffee table. And this is quite an interesting make. I've got all the pieces again on one of these boards, and it's just a case of just gently getting these pieces out. I have to say, I do like this idea of the pieces having this backing on, so they don't all fall out all at one time. And also it keeps these pieces, this lattice work in. So actually it probably is going to be easier for me to take these strips off, and then I can realise what's going on. So let me turn that over. Oh, there we go. So there's one piece of the lattice work. These might be useful. Ah, now these would be perfect for making little legs for the 2 armchairs that I've got that I'm going to be making up. Get the next piece out. Oh gosh. Oh, it's all coming off now. Oh, here we go. You just be careful as I take it out, and I'll just keep those pieces. Right, so there's another piece of the lattice work. There's another piece of lattice work. So that's 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one is there. I'll take that. There we go. Oh, right, let's just take that out. That's over there. Okay, so that's empty. Put that to one side. Right, let's get rid of these little bits, because I don't need those. Now, it talks on the instructions of laying this upside down. That's quite a smooth side, so I think I'll keep that face up. So it's all about putting these lattice pieces in. And I'm just looking to see how this is going to work. Right. Let me just check. So they're saying, he's saying, oh, it must be, this is quite complicated. Let's have a look. He talks about putting them flat all the way around. Let me just, oh, no, that needs to go that way. That needs to go that way. And that needs to go that way. So your construction must be going like this. Let's just have a look. That doesn't seem right. So I think I've got this. Golly. I think I've got it. Oh, there we go. That goes in like so. And Ozzy's talking as well. Gosh, this is going to be a very snug fit. I'm just wondering why I've got that there. Okay, that's just something in the design. So somehow, and I say somehow, I've got to get this fitted in here. I've got to be so careful. All right, so that's definitely in. But that's got to fit. I think this has got to fit flush. And I've got to be so careful about putting any pressure on this. goes in there. Well, well, well. Well, that's rather flash, isn't it? That really is nice. Actually, there's a bit there that hasn't gone in. Let me just try. Actually, let me take the rest of this blade off, because this blunt edge will... Ah, there we go. That's in. That's in. You can hear them clicking. Golly. Yes, fine. Wow, that really is nice. As I say, I'm going to have a think about how I want to do this regarding finishing it off, because obviously it does need finishing off. And he talks about you staining it or painting it. I'm not overly keen just now for painting it, because I think the whole thing about Rennie Macintosh is, you know, you've got this wood. I mean, it's a hard board. But that is really lovely, and it's done that. Now, the next bit I do need the glue for. Let me turn the instructions over. And the next bit, I've got to put... Okay. So that's saying... Right, apparently these are meant to poke further up, but they're not going to. So all I can do is lay that on, glue it, and then pop the next one on and glue it. Right, so I'll do that. Let me just glue the underside of this, get some glue out to do it. Golly, glue's taking its time. Right, I'm just wondering whether I should just get my bigger bottle out. In fact, I think I will. This is for fine work. Let me just take this and put the lid on this. Let me find a bigger... There we go. I've got my bigger bottle of glue here. Let me use this one. It's probably going to ooze a bit, but there we go. There's some glue there. So, if that's... I'm not going to put more than that on, just because I don't really want it oozing out of the sides if I can help it. So I know that one's going there. And I know that that one is going on there. And the idea is, if I grab some clips, is it's got to go down in the right place, that's for sure. So let me do it that way. And make sure that that is definitely plumb with the bottom. Right, there's one clip. The only problem with clips is that there is a tendency for wood to slip, especially when it's being glued like this. So that's in, right on the corner. I just need to take that glue out. Oh, Ozzy. Quietly now, there's a good boy. Let's just bring that one over to the edge. See, it's slipped, so it's... Rule number 1, Leslie, just do one piece at a time. It's the excitement of it all. Right, so let me get this one on the corner at this end. No, Ozzy, there's a good boy. I know you want to join in, but there's nothing you can do Doll's House-wise. Other than that, you're just a noisy boy. Why don't you settle down and have a bit of a nap? You've been out this morning. Should be a bit tired. Oh, there we go. Oh, this is looking really, really nice. Oh, yes, yes, yes. I'm going to keep hold of all the little bits. Oh, I've got the glue. I'm going to keep hold of all these little bits, because you never know when you might just want to use them. And as I say, a couple of these little squares stuck together will make ideal feet and certainly ideal feet on the bottom of a divan bed. And little feet for the armchairs. So let's put that one in there. He does mention in his instructions that some of these will poke up, which I have to say they haven't. So, but I can't get them to fit any further in than they are. Oh, hang on, that's not, hold on, that's not. Let's make sure that's in. Yes, that's in. Let's get that one. Sorry, I'm just having a fiddle here. That's in. That's in. We can go a bit further up. And then this one can go in. So more clamps. This red clamp with the red feet claws, it's a lot stronger than the blue one. See, it immediately can start trying to, Taz has pulled it away. There, no, it's still not. Gosh. No, it seems to want to pull it away. I don't know why. Hold on, let's take that. And I have noticed that some of the glue is coming through on the bottom. Okay, golly, this is rather exciting. I do need to get this glue off though. I don't want any glue. Let me just take that off. It does affect the staining process, and if I am going to stain it, I want to get it absolutely right. Just slightly move that one. There we go, that's gone in. I'll just see if I can, I don't know whether I can pick the glue up. There, pick it up with my nail. Having nails, useful for all sorts. There we go. And that one goes in there. So let's get that one in. Oh, no, hang on. Listen, I'm just talking. No, I'm just... Excuse me, everyone. Do you want to go out? You're just a noisy boy. Go on, off you go. You have a good one. Sorry about that. Usual thing, as soon as I start talking to camera, if Ozzy's here, seems like it's his cue to start woofing at nothing. And he is, literally, he's woofed at nothing. I've let him out. So, just in case you weren't aware, the dog was in the room, listening to me, and decided he'd had enough of me. I do love that dog of mine. Couldn't eat a whole one. There we go. So let me put that red clamp in there, which is, oh, it's sort of gone in. I'm just going to line that up, take that excess glue out, and I'm going to put that clip in there. So there we go. This is the almost complete. The last thing that Mark has supplied on this is the Rennie Macintosh rose, and that's going to sit in the middle. So I really got to come up with a good idea as to how I want to finish this off, and then I can put the rose in the middle. But for now, I'm going to take that out, keep that to one side safely, which usually means I end up losing it, but I won't. I will try and look after that. So that's it really. I can't show you much more on that. It's gone together well. I know I haven't glued it. I may well come back to the bottoms and glue those into place. They're just slightly wayward. And I use a bit of super glue. There is a bit of debris glue going on underneath, but I'm absolutely delighted with that, and I look forward for that to go in the house as well. If only I could afford the real thing, but I think they come with a hefty price tag, so I shall dream in my doll's house. So I'm just going to put away all the rubbish now, collect all these lovely little bricks together because I'm sure I'm going to have some serious use for those. And a big thank you to Mark. So if you go onto Etsy and you look at Lasercraft, mark.uk, you'll find a number of things that he does. And it just so happens that he's as into Rennie Macintosh as I am. And I'm just absolutely delighted with this. And thank you, Mark, very much indeed for sending. And as I say, they weren't expensive. And if I get the chair absolutely right, then I will get that stained, and I more than likely will put a set of these in the dining room area of Crossley House. I'm going to leave it for now. It's just gone 6 o'clock. I've got a dog that I've thrown outside. It's not raining, so it's perfectly okay if anybody's worried about, and there's no need to call the RSPCA. But I'm going to bring Ozzy in now. I'm going to give him some dinner. I need some sustenance. And then I might come back later. If not, I shall come back in the morning and carry on with the delights of making beautiful miniature things for my Crossley house. So we did go off and have dinner, and yes, I went back afterwards and carried on with other bits and pieces. Not necessarily filming, but there was a lot of clearing up to do, because I always managed to make a huge mess. That's it for this week. Thank you for coming along and watching. I hope you've enjoyed the content. And please, if you think I'm doing something wrong, let me know. But be kind when you tell me. Anyway, I'm going now. Ozzy's out. He sends his regards. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.